Greetings! This month gave us another fantastic Quake map set with the second Coppertone Summer Jam. 22 really lovely maps, plus a start map made in a 2-week period by a variety of the Quake community's talented mappers and modelers and texture artists, musicians. What community jam wouldn't be complete without an exhaustingly long mazu map to dive into? MacGyver Goes Lovecraft is a non-linear 58 secret 607 monster dungeon crawl with an initial clear time for me of almost 3 hours. So what makes this map so special? Well, there's a really clever scavenging/crafting system built into the map to help obtain weapons, ammo, health, and key items for progression. I recorded a demo of this, trying to do it as quickly as I could within reason, and I felt that without any sort of context as to what I'm doing, the unorthodox progression just makes it kind of baffling to watch. So here's a little commentated run for you to enjoy. Let's get into it. So, here we are. As you can see, we start off here with a Vor facing the other way and a Death Knight, so that tells you what to expect here, no weapons whatsoever. That first jump I did there, I want to note, is a really tricky ramp jump, where the issue is if you try and make it normally, you usually bang your head. But just getting an infight started there and back into the outside area. This introduction here is quite self-contained. My objective is to chop down a tree and make it out of this specific area, which is the Castle of Blood. It's little signs everywhere which tell you where things are and what's going on. And to do so, I'm going to need to scrounge up some resources, and I'm going to have to sharpen my axe. If you go up to the tree, it'll tell you that, but unfortunately it won't tell you because I don't go up to that tree. One thing I did like about playing this opening, which is very tight on ammo, is I learned how to melee a lot better in this game, dealing with the active frames on the attacks and learning the correct way to dodge and when to stay out of range and stuff to kill Death Knights and regular Knights. Fish, as you can see, didn't do quite as well with, but gave it a go. That's the important thing, isn't it? So let's see here. You can see I'm picking up already lots and lots of items. All of these items, even the ones that say things like junk and whatever else, they actually are important. As the counter goes up and I collect more and more of them, it will unlock important weapons for me and items. So finding secrets is a good way of making sure that you get all the tools that you want. And I'm trying to do this relatively quickly, so the more secrets I find early on, the faster I can go, basically. The more items I get, the stronger I get. So, this initial area here in the Castle of Blood, I'm trying to find a way of sharpening the axe. That's the main objective here. There are a lot of secrets all over the place. You can even pick the decorations off the wall and get the paper. So I'm finding them all as I go. The herbs that I'm picking up there, they're used to craft health items later on when we enter the crafting guild. But while you pick them up normally, it does give you a little temporary constant health boost, which is nice. So this trap here is relatively mean. If you're not paying attention, you don't know about it. But it is the sharpening stone. You do this, your axe can be 100% sharpness. Fantastic. Now you can chop the tree down. And you can see here, it takes a little chunk out of the tree as you chop it down, and those trees can fall on you and hurt you if you're not careful. So this is kind of like the introduction to crafting, in a way. Sort of. It would be nicer if there was a broader introduction that actually used the items that you pick up, instead of just something you hit with the axe, but it's... The thing to remember about this map is it was made in a 2-week period. It's never been done before, anything like this, and it's massive for the amount of time it was made in. It's genuinely impressive, so there's probably ways the progression could be a lot better. As I can think of quite a few things, I'll point them out as we go, but it still works. Small pipe there, hidden away. Pipes are very useful items. The pipes, large pipes I think are used for the rocket launcher, the small pipes are used for the super nail gun, super shotgun, the LG, so really I want to collect all that sort of stuff. And here's another alternative shotgun spawn here, but I wanted to cross the log bridge first and get a bit more ammo before I came in here. Just for my own sanity, really. You can get these guys to sort of infight. That's a very janky way of doing it. But it works nonetheless. And really, this room's relatively straightforward. It's kind of mean if you come in here without any nails or without any shells. It's very tight on ammo. Like I say, if you panic, bad things will happen. So probably best not to come in here if you've sort of just retreated out of the opening area immediately and thought there's nowhere else I can go, I need to go in the water. Some nice air control jumps found here, gets to some secrets, backpacks, pellets and gunpowder, junk, and another hidden switch up top there to get this quad, which is very good for conserving ammo and killing all the stuff before the mines. Without this, ammo would be quite unpleasantly tight. So here we are, we're now crossing into the first major segment of the map, out of the little tutorial zone if you will. There's multiple paths you can take here. Straight ahead there's the Moonlight Keep for key molds with the door locked, so we can't get in there yet. This is the ore mine, where you can get multiple kinds of ore. I believe there's copper, tin, silver, gold, which are all vital resources. The bronze plate is needed there. That makes a little secret accessible, makes some steps appear. And I just want to say here that using the quad there, pushing out hard, was pretty good because it saved me a lot of ammo. That's the best way of using that quad, really. It's very easy to not get in there and kill enough of the enforcers and waste it, but it worked out quite nicely. It saved a lot of time. So, in this area, this is where we're going now. The mines are the first place you go, because in the mines there are 3 gears, one of which you can see on the floor now, and these are used to, make a bridge operational. The Mechanicus Bridge, I believe it's called. So that's our first major objective, and all 3 of them are scattered through the mines. You can continue out the opposite direction, and you head past something called the Silver Monastery, which is where you trade keys for crafting materials, basically. And then you'll reach a dead end. So you do need to come here at some point. It's quite good, this map, insofar as you can go off in all sorts of different directions, take it quite non-linearly. In many cases you do need to you need to go everywhere pretty much at one point, but you can explore a little bit. Though what you'll probably find the first time you play this map is you'll head through the mines and find there's a lot of things in this mine where I can't progress. There are walls which need to be pickaxed and I don't have a pickaxe, and you know, I can't go into the keep and all these things. So there's a lot of situations where it frustrates you and says, oh, you can't do this yet, you need X resource. With no real indication of where to get it, so it's intriguing. It's intriguing. It takes about 20 minutes for the map really to open up, but it holds my attention up to that point. So here you can see one of the first pickaxeable walls. There's one sort of path up here and there's 3 in the lower mine section. And there's a lot of different ways of approaching this zone. In one of my demo attempts when I was doing this, I fell to the bottom and had to work from the bottom all the way up. And this time I'm going to work from the top all the way down, because there's lots and lots of secrets and there's lots of little combat-y set pieces. So it's best just to pick something really, commit to it and just go. You are going to be tight on ammo, so keep that in mind. Though this isn't a particularly good use of ammo here. And behind me here's one of the key molds. All the molds are trapped. The first trap was very gentle, this trap is less so. So you have here 3 Vors. And as you can see, with just 96 nails, 52 shells, that'll be the majority of my ammo gone. Not really what I want to do. So I found that it might not be the fastest way of doing it. It's good just to abuse the walls here, melee some more Vors, just like we meleeed the one at the start as well. Kill this guy, put a bit of shot into him because he's just not going to get close enough. Let the one on the far side approach in their own direction, you know, it's fine. But this is definitely the best way of dealing with it. I mean, I think potentially maybe you could do it a bit faster if you started from the bottom and you came back up here, but then you'd be very tight on the path to the crafting guilds later on, so it's all about balancing the ammo. I do like to leave this mine with quite a lot of stuff on the off chance I'm going to need it. Kind of awkward here, but made it in the end, picking up one of those herbs. Love those blue herbs. They are what give me a lot of survivability in this. Blue herbs mean basically I've got constant overheal because it's always ticking my health up by 1 until it runs out. So it keeps me comfortably above the Copper's 50 HP cap on Nightmare, which when you have no armour, or just green armour, is really small. It's, you know, 2 hits from an ogre sort of thing, maybe the fiend getting a lucky jump bounce on your head, insta-killing you, that sort of thing. It's dangerous stuff. But we're working our way downstairs. You can see here there's a lot of obvious-looking paths where I can do platforming and stuff like that. There's a lot of mazu secrets here, which are primarily platforming-based secrets, dark corners sort of thing. They all have crafting materials, and all of these will help me get my weapons nice and early. So I choose here to do this jump here. That jump is dodgy. You can bang your head on the way. The switch above, which I shot on the ground, that opened up the way to do that in the first place. And you get a magnet for your trouble. The magnet being one of the items that's absolutely necessary for... What is it? I think you need 2 for the LG, and I think you need maybe 1 for the Super Nail Gun. So you're going to need 2 magnets at the very least. Secret here, very straightforward one. Discoloured wall. It took me 5 minutes to find when Mazu was sitting there going, "Have you found the secret yet?" when I was streaming this for the first time. It took me 3 hours to get this the first time. So getting it in under an hour, I'm relatively happy in how efficiently you can do this. Around this corner here is where the 3rd gear is, but I'm not going to grab it yet. I'm going to do everything else first. Because there's a lot of things still to collect around here. Materials and various irritating monsters. There are fish in the water butts there. But then again, there's also sometimes secrets in them, so look before you leap, but check everything out basically. Another shoot switch here. This opens up, well, what you can see coming down here. Yet more resources, scrap metal and fuel. I'm going to need lots of scrap metal and lots of fuel to craft the items I need. Fuel in particular, you need 37 to get a rocket launcher, so I'm constantly, whenever I see them, I'm happy basically. And they contribute toward, getting ammo in the crafting area later on, which is going to be an absolutely vital thing to do. I'll explain the specifics of crafting when we reach the appropriate venue, but until then, I'll just keep pointing out I'm hoovering up everything. Now, in theory, you only need to hoover up a very specific number of things. You could probably map out in detail, well, I need 37 of these, so if I can go here, here, and here, and I can skip this secret, or skip this area and come back later, or not bother collecting everything in this secret, but I'm just not that smart, basically. It's one of those open maps. Because of the non-linearity, you have so much choice in how you want to approach the areas and how you want to do things. You can probably have a lot of different routes. There's probably a much more efficient route than this one. This is just the one I picked because it worked, basically. So coming down here, for example, I don't need to come down here. This is just a dead end. This is a dead end that leads to some ore veins I'm not able to pickaxe and a wall I'm not able to get through. I could have come back here later, but ammo is tight when I come back to the mines to do pickaxing. It's really tight, actually, so I thought it's probably best just to clear it out now, and also to collect the secrets now, because there's 58 secrets. 58 secrets, that's a lot of secrets. It's easy to forget one. I mean, I forget one in this run. I remember it again, because I look at the stats as I'm going on, thinking, oh, where could I possibly have missed one? And then I think, oh, it was there. But it's best not to put yourself in that situation 20 minutes down the line, so I collect every secret that I can conceivably collect here, except for one, which is just where we were in the previous area, because it's on the upper level path to a breakable wall secret, so it's hard to miss otherwise. So I think that was the copper path here. I've already cleared the tin path. A lot of lovely items. The benefit of taking the route I did there is that it wakes up those ogres on the upper platform, so I've got this nice window that I can just snipe them through. And they can sometimes snipe me. Sometimes it hits the bar up on top, sometimes it goes to me. You don't need to go up there. There's a chain of secrets along there. And there's a chain of secrets along here. Just one here to get yourself a pipe and some herbs. The white herb is another healing item. White herbs, I think, make mega health along with the blood vial, which is an item that I do not collect until the very end of the map anyway, so I never really use them. Time switch there, which reveals that walkway. Hidden secret behind the Lovecraft picture. Lovecraft is everywhere in this map. And then another secret round here. Plenty of stuff. Collecting the gear at last. This shambler is terrifying. If you're playing this casually, if you like getting bullied about because you don't have very good ammo, and you're just running thinking, oh, you fall down or something like that, you can pick a gear up by accident, you can summon these guys here, along with everything else in the chaos. It's like a death sentence, basically. But if you take the map apart slowly, as I'm doing here, well, efficiently, but relatively, in a controlled manner, you won't have an issue. And it respawns some ammo, I think, on the top here when you spawn in these guys, so it's not too cruel. I didn't pick up one of the pieces of junk there. That's why having routes where you're saying, you know, I'm going to get exactly this, this, and this, not a good idea, because it's very easy to miss these items if you're not paying attention. Just like you might accidentally not pick up a health kit. So, we have our 3 gears. We can now cross the Mechanicus Bridge. There is the Moonlight Keep. Still can't go in there, but I'm going to probably collect a few bits and pieces from the outside the front door. The front door is locked. There's a window you can see there, which I can't get into. You could grenade jump into that if you'd like. It tells you that there's a key mold in there, and the key mold is what you need to generate the gold key to get to the exit of the map, which is in the Fortress of Quake. There's lots of signs everywhere which explain all these things to you. I just don't look at them, which makes this a particularly poor walkthrough. It's a particularly poor speedrun too, so it's kind of like the worst of both worlds if you think about it, but you do get to hear my lovely voice. So this here is the Silver Monastery. Here you trade your silver keys, for crafting materials. It's a bit like the key shop in Smay 2 map 5, Mazu's map there. But there's tangible results, you know, I'm getting a weapon if I do this. Here you have the situation of I'm spending my keys to pick up a bunch of indistinct items, some of which I've never seen before, which are used for crafting. I'm not sure what they're for. You have to kind of guess and extrapolate. So, it's not the best, really. It ties into a deeper problem, which is I don't know what items I've actually got. This just uses the copper progs, and there's nothing to let me know, you know, what have I actually picked up yet. So, I don't know what my progress is towards certain weapons or whatever else, so I don't know what the value of the keys are, really, when it comes down to it. Maybe this will be addressed, because this is only the beta version of the map. There's going to be a standalone, allegedly, at some point. Maybe that'll be something addressed in the standalone when this is expanded somewhat. It is a weakness, but it's a minor weakness, because the way the crafting works anyway, it's not that much of a big deal. You don't need to know, you know, it's not like you're spending resources later on to explain this. So, right now I'm just pathing along the upper levels to pick all the secrets up. When in doubt, when you've got a big area like this, take the upper perimeter, work your way in. Because you usually find things like quads. You can wake stuff up down below, you can get them in fighting. It's the most efficient way of moving about, basically. I'm just going to use this quad to clear as much of this downstairs area as possible. And I'm using the shotgun because I like having nails. I don't know why I'm so paranoid about having nails. I really shouldn't be. I should be using the nails a bit more freely here, but what can you do? So this is the underside of the Mechanicus Bridge here. You can't just leave this way. There is a shortcut that unlocks later, but it requires a grappling hook, which we don't have. So unfortunately, you do have to take this bridge mechanism, which is kind of tricky across. But there is a secret down here, so it's worth picking up, and some herbs. And a pipe. So we're quids in on our development process. Now, there's only one correct choice for our one key use here, and that's to pick up the smart device. That's because the smart device is used for building LG. You also get some jewels, which are necessary for crafting armour, but you also need 3 of each to build the LG again. So this train here is awkward, as you can see. It moves very quickly, it moves faster in Nightmare difficulty, so you're going to need a little bit of air control. You can get clipped on these little barriers quite easily. But I need to ride it twice. This wasted 10 seconds. I was really unhappy about this. And there's a shoot switch here to get to your first secret. Oh, beautiful. Herbs, pellets, gunpowder. Pellets and gunpowder, I'm going to need those for... You know, I don't actually know what those are for, the gunpowder. I think it's for... I have no idea. I think it's just for ammo, really. A bomb as well, I think. You can see there how I had to really hustle to get along there. So, second half of the map, this is the important thing. You have multiple paths here again. This, which I've just got to, this is the crafting guild. You have to bomb your way inside. There's also, to my right there, the guardhouse, where there is broken mining equipment, pickaxe, and there's a sawmill, which will give you planks, which you need, I believe, for crafting possibly the bronze plates, I think it is. But they're also very good for crafting the super shotgun, so it's worth going there. I love how you can use a tree there to crush those guys, it's fantastic. and open up this whole little path of secrets up here. Though the logs are very difficult to jump onto. Very difficult. It's super awkward. See, I'm really struggling here. And there's a nice little ramp jump here up to the battlement. Where I somehow fall off. I have no idea how I did that. But that's fine. It doesn't really matter. So, a lot of ropes I'm picking up here. The ropes are going to be needed to make a grappling hook. They're all in the area. In terms of bomb materials, most of them are down here. You need the paper clip to bomb the door, a cell, I think some pellets and gunpowder as well. And it's all just kicking around here, basically. And I've got all the ropes now. I can craft the grappling hook. Happy days. But first I'll go into the moats. Clear that out as well. Enemies are filtering down from the branching path toward the sawmill. They can sometimes take their time, sometimes they don't even bother showing up here at all. So it's just worth killing them when they're there. And that's why I like to have a lot of ammo just on the off chance that it got kind of awkward, basically. Though I do overestimate how much ammo I'm going to need, quite frankly. So maybe you could do the start even faster if you were less stingy with ammo. For future speedrunners, you know, or maybe a future one on this map when it's on the final version, take notes. Having to climb back up here, a little bit of a waste of time, but we got our junk, we got our emerald. It lets us craft a backpack. It's quite exciting, so we'll take it. More enemies just filtering in here. So, this is the crafting hall. You can see there's stations here for crafting everything. There's a vial to pick up there, which lets me pick up liquids, which is important. There's liquid at the very start of the map with the blood, and there's water as well, which are needed for health kits. The only thing I can really craft at the moment here, though, is the grenade launcher, which was, I believe, 25 scrap, a pipe, and some fuel. A handful of fuel, like 5 or 6. So, relatively easy to do. But I am going to walk around here collecting all the resources that are sort of around. Taking a look as well, taking the sights in. Smelting down here for making the bronze gears, some keys. You can make the weapons up here. You can make the grappling hook, which I need to make, which I think is something very straightforward to make as well. I think it's like 3 ropes, a pipe, some scrap metal, like maybe 20 scrap metal. And going upstairs here where you can build health, but there's also some secrets. Now, it's important to note the way this works with crafting. Crafting doesn't deplete the resources you have in your inventory. I believe it's just a literal counter, which counts as you collect things. You know, you have 1 scrap, 2 scrap, 3 scrap. So anything that requires 3 scrap, you can then go and craft. So there's no downside to touching all of the crafting stations and seeing what you can make. Now that's something I really wish was explained a bit better, because when I first played this, I was a little nervous about doing so. But it makes sense. I'm also not sure how ammo crafting works, because it says there's specific quantities needed for crafting ammo, something like rockets are like 6 fuel, 12 gunpowder, but I'm crafting loads of boxes of that, so I think maybe after you get the initial one, maybe it's 1 of each of extra resource, and then you get another box, something like that. Anyway, so what we're doing now, we're going up here. This is one of the first uses of the grappling hook, to just pick some items up in a secret. In theory, this is one of the things that I would change if I did this again. I would not come up here until I had the bronze plates to get even higher onto the roof. I don't think you need any of the stuff up here in particular for crafting weapons or anything that I'm going to need at this point. So, a bit of a waste of time. But now we have the grappling hook, we in theory can go into the guardhouse to get the pickaxe, but I'm going to do the the sawmill instead. The reason for that is very straightforward, is I want the planks. I need the planks at some point anyway, but I'm also going to get the crafting resources I need now for the super shotgun and the super nail gun, which are 2 lovely items. I just want to say I really enjoyed this whole area, the naturalistic sort of attempt at making a sawmill, with the, I guess, the sawmill, the sawdust-like grain silo-y thing as well, and the interior as well. It's in Doom you'd say it's a Doom cute aesthetic. I guess you'd call it Quake cute, I suppose. But it's cute. It's fun. It's evocative while being geometrically very simple. And well lit. That's the important thing. Good lighting is what makes or breaks the map in terms of bushwork. You could have bushwork that's as crude as you like. Not to say this is, mind you. And good lighting will make it very impressive. The switch inside the grain silo opened up that cage, gave me some items. Behind the log that I went to earlier, there was also a window to see a quad, which I'm going to need. Well, I'm not going to need, but I'm going to want, so it lets you know there's a quad somewhere directly opposite that wall. And I'm doing the same thing as I did last time in the monastery area here when we had our keys. I'm just taking the outside route, upper route, and just going through all of the secrets that I can think of, collecting all of the resources, taking a quick detour here to break back to where the bridge was, and this is the door to the Fortress of Quake, which is at the end of the map. Just picking up some resources on the way. Why not? Means I'll get more ammo earlier, which is always a good sign. And then we can continue on. So, to get the planks from the sawmill, we need to make it operational. To do that, there's 3 switches. One here, one in the sort of cargo depot area, and one deep in the factory behind that wall of monsters. Each switch, obviously, like we're picking up gears, there's a reaction. This also makes some crates move, so you can get to a secret that I've not gone to yet from a different direction, though not very deep into it, just to the outside part of it. So thankfully I don't have to do that platforming. But it's worth noting there's a couple of ways to get into some secrets. It works really well. We can climb around here. We can climb up. Some lovely rooftop sort of ramp jumping here, which is such a lovely feeling in Quake. There's nothing I enjoy more than just being able to do little high jumps off ramps and turning in the air and jumping to places where it feels like, you know, I'm supposed to be doing this, but it's a Mazu map and Mazu's very keen on movement, so of course I am. Anything that you can do in this map is intentional, basically. If there's something that you see in this map and you think, oh wow, surprise there's nothing here, I mentioned some of these when I streamed this for the first time. Mazu said, yeah, I was gonna do something here, but I ran out of time, you know. 2 weeks. Not the most amount of time for making something as complex as this, so that was it was a sketch, it was an idea of something I wanted to do. Fair enough. Secret grappling points. There's several of these on the map. I think I visit all of them but one. There's another one in that area where I got the first silver key, which is like a shortcut up to the area I jumped around to by doing ramp jumping, so kind of pointless, some of them, but I'll point them out as I get to them. There's nothing that indicates that those are... There's no gear on the floor like there is for the crafting zones or grapple points or anything. And there's one here as well that takes you up to this top level. And hidden away in the rafters is my favourite little secret here. It's the boss's office, as ever. With the Mr. Burns hatch in the floor kind of a thing. Now, I'm not sure if that makes the sawmill operational without having to do the other buttons. I think it might. I think it might be a bypass. But my memory doesn't serve me well, so I'm just going to assume it doesn't and do everything else regardless. All my running about and showing myself earlier upstairs had the desired effect of luring all the monsters to the ground floor, where I can easily hit them with grenades and bully them, basically. You could just probably go grab the quad immediately and clear these guys out regardless, but I prefer to do it this way. Bad air control. Terrible. Bad circle jump. But we're on the road collecting here. This will all be worth it eventually. All this just to get myself some weapons and to guarantee the progress of the map later on. I mean, it's interesting, this is actually the halfway point now of this entire map, and I still don't have a double-barrel shotgun, so... The progression here is quite brutal. The start of the map really is a real scrap for survival. You've really got to scrimp and pull everything together, so hey, you know, MacGyver Goes Lovecraft, you know, it fits the theme perfectly, it's beautiful, but it's a challenge. This is the kind of middle section I'm getting to now, when I have some comfortable weapons and I can do some damage, and then we'll be plunged straight back into the ammo management zone again, unfortunately, so we're going to enjoy what we've got now with this quad. Planks here. Unlimited supply, now I can craft a shotgun and some other stuff. There's some other stations here you can notice if you go to them. One is for a barricade and one is for ladders, and it just says sorry not in beta. So those are clearly for something that is planned for this map potentially when it's expanded in the near or distant future. Very exciting. But I'm coming here now to craft together my wonderful items. I think the super nail gun was 4 small pipes, a magnet, 35 scrap, 4 plastic. SSG's planks, 2 pipes and some scrap. And now I'm just crafting all the ammo as I go. You can see now one thing that is quite a weakness of the system where I can craft lots of backpacks. Look at the amount of armour I have. That's all green. That's 244 green armour. So it's not the most damage reduction, but it's a gigantic quantity of armour. And I'm going to have huge quantities of armour for the rest of this set, no matter how much damage I take, basically. Ammo's pretty tight to begin with, and health's pretty tight to begin with, so I don't take, like, stupid damage, but I'm always heavily armoured up. Before I forget, I'm just going to say, we are heading now to the guardhouse to get the pickaxe bits. And this is the way in. You've got to climb into this upper window, which is... I like it. It's nice. Like a thief kind of thing. More secrets here. Lots of them. I'm just trying to do them all as I go. This entire downstairs area... This entire area down here is irrelevant unless you just want a silver key. But it opens up a shortcut as well back to the crafting area, so it's worth doing. Even if you're not a completionist, it's worth exploring around here. Climbing out this window, we get a ruby. We need all the rubies we can get for the rocket launch of the we need it for, I think, the LG and for the red armour, which we never use, so not really a problem. That's the other downside of having huge armour stacks. I physically couldn't pick up yellow armour even if I had it at this point, which I don't. Same with red. Oh, no, I could pick up red on the 250, but later on I can't without taking self-damage, so it's not particularly useful. This is a nice trap coming up here. You pick the key up, the shambler comes out the cage, relatively straightforward, but it also spawns lots and lots of wizards around you. And if you run, obviously you can see here there's a lot of enemies, a lot of tough competition. So if you're not prepared for it, it gets chaotic. You can see here, even though I was prepared for it, I took a couple of hits. You know, I lost a lot of health there before the multiple herbs kicked in and massively juiced my health up. But a lot of things to go with a grenade launcher here. You can see why having the super shotgun here, it just saves time. Same with the super nail gun later on, it's just useful. Though, I wasn't very efficient with my grenades here. There's ways of doing this where you can kill everything much faster, but alas. More crafting material around here. Don't fall in the lava, that's embarrassing. Collecting all that lovely scrap metal, all that junk. Emeralds. Green armour's now craftable. I need heavy plates to get the other armours. That's something you can only get from the monastery by spending some keys, unfortunately. Though, you wouldn't guess what heavy plates were if I pointed them out to you. But we don't need them. We're sitting pretty. 24 health. I mean, 24 health is... It's 24 health, really. If you're playing on Nightmare and Copy, you've just got to learn just to chill out and not really worry too much about health. Just play as if you're on full health all the time. You'll be a better player for it, potentially. In this area up here, we're eventually going to get the pickaxe handle at the very top here. It's just quite a trek. And hell, there's some secrets to go for as well. You saw those destructible wall just there on the left that I couldn't open. I've got to come back here at some point with the pickaxe. Another little lovely secret. And here's the nice ramp jump secret here to get up to the very top, which I failed miserably. But at least I failed this one as opposed to falling the one where I could fall down to the bottom and have to climb all the way up the stairs again. So there you go. And you get a magnet for your trouble there. I don't need any magnets anymore, but you get a magnet. So there's redundancy built in, so you're always going to be able to stack yourself up to the full set of weapons if you collect some of the secrets, not all of them, just some, you know? The map's quite generous, actually. And now we've collected enough gems, 3 of each kind, so we can have the LG at long last, which is absolutely vital. I absolutely needed that to be there, and it's fortuitous that I got it pretty much exactly at that point when I needed it. Just as I was getting the pickaxe, so happy days, basically. This spawns a huge amount of wizards, scrags, if you get the broken pickaxe handle, so I go straight back inside. Lure them all into one area, kill them with a couple of grenades, ammo efficiency. Though, it's not the most interesting thing in the world to look at. Sometimes it can go wrong as well, because they can all fan out around here and be willies. But hey, that's life. And there's a jump round here with a bit of air control to pick up another pipe. And one of our 58 secrets, so worth doing. You have some repopulation of enemies here. That shambler can sometimes be hanging around by the back door to the guardhouse. So watch out, because he will drop down on your head. Give you a bit of a scare. But taking one at that corner, not a problem. And you can see how low I am on resources in terms of nails and shells after doing all that. So no better time than to stock back up now. And pick up our beautiful LG. Oof. So you can see how much in the way of resources I'm getting here. It's pretty good. It keeps me happy, but I still do... I end up pretty much having just enough to do what I need to do. And this is a secret I missed earlier as well. I should have picked this up right when I first came in here, and I completely forgot, and I was pressing tab as I was playing and looking at the secret count, thinking, what have I missed? What have I missed? Pickaxe, though. Pickaxe, I think, is 25 scrap, 25 junk. The planks, you need the planks from the sawmill, and the broken pickaxe handle, so... Happy days, we can now go mine some ore, which we're going to need to make bronze plates, and we're going to need them to make the keys later on. So, we've got to go all the way back to the mines now. Kind of a pain in the ass, we're going to have to take 2 trips as well. I'm also going back here to pick up ammo, purely because ammo is so tight in this next segment that I need everything I can get. I need those 20 shotgun shells, so it's worth just going back after killing those enforcers outside just to really ensure that I'm going to be ready. You can smash this though. You can craft big backpack. That's all we need from the guardhouse now, we're free and clear. Thank goodness for that. And we can now go back across the bridge to the other side, which is of course repopulated helpful with enemies. We do have some more keys to spend as well, which is very good news. So we can enjoy ourselves there. So coming out here, it's a kind of a big open fight. Fights in this map, honestly, they're very straightforward, they're very easy. It's just resource management really, and not losing too much health and not owning yourself on hard difficulties. If you play sensibly and passively, you'll do fine. Pick up the water here, Lovecraft's water. It's healing bath water, which I believe heals you if you stand in it, but also it's used for making medium-sized health kits, along with... Is it green herb? I think it's green herb. So it's worth doing. I'm trying to think, there's probably a different combination you could do at this point, maybe to get items faster, maybe get the rocket launcher earlier if you open some other doors, but I didn't really think about it too much here and I just continued sequentially. That bloody pile of logs is the heavy plate, which is what you need to create, I think you need it just to create the armors. And there's lots of fuel in here as well, so all good for getting that rocket launcher at the end of the map. Another wall to break here. It's a shambler. Very exciting. He's dead. And you have a first little bit of mining here. Very exciting. This is for some silver. I believe that silver keys is something like 5 bits of silver per key, so you can make 2 silver keys at the end of the map, though it's at the end of the map so it's kind of pointless, all things considered. But it means you'll have 1 silver key left over as well, given the way it all works. I think the original end of the map, once you go through the gold key door, the Fortress of Quake, was supposed to be something much more grandiose and, you know, a big deal, but the map kind of just sort of ends when it ends, as a function of, you know, running out of time. So maybe this will become relevant in the future if you're watching this in 2025, or whenever you're watching this, not that late, maybe 2023, and you're thinking, ooh, it's Mazu's famous MacGyver Goes Lovecraft map. Where are all the secrets? Maybe you'll find this by accident, because I have misleading YouTube names. You'll learn something, you'll think, oh, that's how I got that key. Interesting, that hasn't moved. So going through the mine here, as I say, we've got to make 2 trips here. I'm going to do the upper vein, and the upper vein only. And then retreat all the way back to the crafting station to get some ammo, which I hate. It's the one part of the map that doesn't flow very well, but it's a 30, 40, it's about a minute's detour, it's not a big deal. And honestly, you don't, strictly speaking, need to come up here. It's for silver keys. It's only for us hardcore completionist fools, so... There you go. And there's some combat encounters up here. Don't underestimate the fiends, whatever you do. They can jump on your head in Nightmare, they can do all sorts of terrible things and jump off you twice and insta-kill you. It just happened to be here before, so... Never underestimate anything. Even if the combat is pretty frontal in terms of just, you know, presented with a situation, kill, continue. You can see here how tight it's already getting on ammo, because there's pretty much no ammo in this section, beyond what I left behind for my initial run through the mine, sort of main area proper. But you do get a little bit of something in there, which is nice. In theory, I should use LG a little bit more on probably one of those shamblers and then regain the LG ammo in that cubby hole, but I guess I didn't really think about the efficiency of that move, so that was silly of me. You can see here, weapon choice. It's efficient enough, I suppose. You have one little section here. There's 3 like ore repositories in every single one of the 4 ore mining regions of the mines, basically. But watch out, because this one's trapped. And like before, it's another very mean Vor trap where you don't have any ammo to really effectively deal with them. I could burn through a big chunk of the LG, but I want to save LG for the end of the map. I don't want to waste time, so... Kind of awkward. But Vors in Copper are weak, let's be honest. Vors in Copper are nerfed to a point where they're kind of a joke, for the most part, because all you've got to do is kill them and then their tracking becomes pathetic and they can't really move. So it's easy just to bully them. They're just ammo sinks. And then you can begin the arduous journey of running with your tail between your legs back to the crafting station. Perhaps it would have been nicer if the crafting station was a bit more central, or there was a shortcut that unlocked maybe, which is slightly better than having to go all the way around here, but it is what it is, really. In terms of crafting as well, I think it would have been nicer if there was more opportunities for crafting outside of the main crafting zone. Like at the beginning, it would have been nice if there was a little tutorial craft along with the axe sharpening, but maybe some stations down in the mine, some appropriate thematic sort of things, like maybe you can get some grenades down there for, like, you know, blasting from explosives or something. Just something to reduce the need to come back here. But while I'm here, I might as well stock up a bit further. Have a look at that door, which Looney Tunes style crushed a bunch of enemies that I didn't let any of you see, unfortunately, because I was too busy collecting secrets. Go play the map, you can see that. It's a very cool little effect. And we're heading back to finish off the mines now. You can see my wonderful movement, I say that so loosely. I don't know how to power bunny or do any of the particularly nice bunny hops in this game. I can just do what I do, which is kind of just what works for me. Which I hastily sort of cobbled together from playing Quake World with my friend. So, down here we're entering the first of the veins. This is the gold vein. This is the secret I was talking about leaving earlier. Just a backpack, because it leads to another secret. You have to use air control to jump around there, because otherwise the ceiling knocks you off. But you get a quad for your trouble. With quads you can destroy walls with one pit, which is nice. It's like a Riccio kind of thing. I'm using the quad best I can here to kill everything. I don't use it as efficiently as I should. I forget about that spawn, which is terrifying. I should go behind that Vor there and kill. There's 2 ogres up top, but I didn't have the presence of mind to do so. Bit of a mistake, wastes a couple seconds. Not a big deal. But that's the gold vein, basically fully exhausted. It's a relatively simple wing. And it's worth it, it's worth the time. You've got to come down here for your gold key. Our objective now, however, isn't making the key. Our objective now is making copper plates so we can go to the key mold building, the Moonlight Keep. So, to make bronze with the bronze plates. And why am I calling them copper plates? I've done it again. To make our bronze plates, I keep saying. So imagine every time I said copper, I should have said bronze. We need to make our bronze plates, and bronze, as you all should know from metallurgy, which you would have been taught in school, along with alchemy and divination and so on. You know, copper and tin. So we need to make our bronze. We need to smelt our alloy. So that's why there's 2 extra rings to go through here, which means more combat, more fun, more ammo depletion, more pain. Pick that held up. Let's keep moving. Almost forgot about the gold vein down here. Would have been kind of embarrassing. I don't think I need it, but the completion in Mist in me really likes it. It's worth noting as well, I think you can shoot those with a gun. I think once you have the pickaxe unlocked, any sort of damage you as a player does to it counts as destroying the veins. So maybe I should have, you know, used the LG or something. Do some industrial sort of mining, but I like to stay in character. Very satisfying, the triple grenade. And now we get our copper. The first of our alloys. Oof, metals for alloying. I tell a lie, it's like, I only did science to GCSE, which is not the highest level you could do science to in the United Kingdom, so I don't really know much about it. I'm more of a humanities guy. This is a nice kind of pin actually, because if you back up too much here, those guys up there will shoot you. They're really cheeky enforcers, I like it. Though, if you go around the corner, they can't shoot you, so not a big deal after all. But I do like it. It's just a little spicy trap. And now we have what we need for a rocket launcher, which is 75 junks. That's a lot of junks. 37 fuels, which is the big one. 3 other pipes, which you've had for a long time, and 12 plastics, which you've also had for a very long time. But it's the fuel. 37 fuels is the big one. And you don't need the rocket launcher, but I like to have the rocket launcher for the end of the map. I've done a run of this without the rocket launcher, which is about 5 minutes longer, basically. 10 minutes longer, it was my bad one. But it's nice to have it. And here's the tin, copper and tin. Take anything away from this, beyond Corin likes to talk a lot of bollocks, you can learn about what bronze is. And the reason for the failure of Bronze Age societies, as I pull out my copy of Joseph Tainter. The Collapse of Complex Civilizations, is that what it's called? Not a very good book. This is just a ring, this one. Not a particularly interesting place to fight. The Shambler does wander though, so sometimes it'll be right round the back, depending on when you come here. You could be fighting these guys, a Shambler comes up behind you. Potential pins emerging. Potentially not. You get to meet some lovely friendly wizards here, who are just hanging out. You can collect some paper and pipes as well. It's a shame copper ogres only give you 1 rocket back for each one you kill, individual one you kill, so unfortunately you can't just make the free kill on them trade, which is, you know, 2 grenades into them. It does mean you have to think a little bit harder than normal. But we have everything we need now. This is the great thing. We can now go craft ourselves some bronze plates. Bronze plates, I'm saying it correctly now for the first time. Which is the last major crafting item that we're going to need before we finally can craft our gold key to the exit. So exciting. We can also use the bronze plates for something very exciting, which is red armour, which I cannot pick up because I have 436 green armour. As much as I would love red armour and its wonderful damage reducing qualities, I could self-damage to get it. It's just not worth it. There's a hidden grappling point up there, which I mentioned before, by the silver key, which takes you back up to the secret that I've already collected, so pointless. These spawns are actually really nasty, because most of the time when you come down here, you're going to have very little after clearing the mines out in terms of ammo, so it forces you to shotgun them or try to get them with grenades or something, and it's scary if you don't know they're there. So even in a big open space, spawns can be used in such a way which makes them very effective, regardless of how much I can dodge or whatever. The spawns tend to make people panic like idiots anyway, to be fair, but they make me panic like idiots pretty much anywhere too, and that's why they're the greatest enemy in Quake. And my episode 4 is the greatest episode of Quake. So here we go, we can craft ourselves some wonderful bronze plates, and you get some scrap metal out of that as well, which is pretty cool because scrap metal is, I think, nails? I think more nail ammo, which I need. So, happy days. Don't know what I'm looking around here for. Backpacks, I suppose, which I'm not going to pick up yet for whatever reason. I just decided to craft them. And this is where I almost made a mistake, but a mistake that I made earlier, which is leaving this enforcer alive, reminded me I need to go up to the top. As I said, if I were to make another demo attempt to this, I would do it where I wouldn't have bothered coming up here in the first place at all until this point. I think I probably would have gotten away with it resource-wise to do so, and it would have saved me about a minute of time. So 55 minutes, even 50 minutes, probably perfectly doable with this route if you really push hard. And if you come up here, you get another key, though at this point, who the hell needs keys? We've got every single weapon, we're swimming in resources. And there's a drop down here to yet another secret for yet another topaz. So we can craft even more yellow armour. Oh, exciting, I know. But we are back on the road now. We have our plates. There was a plate down in the mine. Our bronze plates will unlock a secret in the mines, which you see right at the beginning of the game and think, oh man, I would love to have that, and then never get to use. I can open one of these two doors. I don't go into all of these, it's a spoiler, because there's no real point in doing so. It just wastes time at the end of the map. So I do end up with 2 keys at the end with one door unopened. There's only, I believe, a magnet in there and some scrap metal and bits and pieces that I don't need, so nothing exciting happens, I promise you. And here you go, you get some lovely herbs down here for that beautiful health regen. And that happy Resident Evil vibe. And we can go to our final area, the Moonlight Keep. So, climbing up here, relatively straightforward. This is actually a really nice trap, because you come up here, you panic, things are shooting at you, it's awkward to get in here, and when you do, there is a spawn, so it does push you back downstairs, and when it pushes you back downstairs, that's a problem, because down there there's now a bunch of fiends, and above you, you're being harassed by grenades and by wizards, squags, you know. So it's a nasty pin situation, and you could really screw yourself over if you fell down there. So having the patience just to stay at the top, not panic, it pays off. And then you can, in theory, shoot rockets down here to kill all the guys very quickly. But I managed to horrendously fuck this up and waste a huge amount of time. But I want them gone. And I want them gone because I'm going to air control my way into this window down here to get to a secret. And I didn't want to accidentally fuck it up and land on the fiend's head. So there you go, that's one of our last secrets. I think we've only got 2 to go now, so they're to be savoured. And here's one of my favourite secrets in the entire map actually coming up. This can be accessed in 2 different ways, and it's platforming that seems like it's out of bounds and you shouldn't be there, but it's entirely intentional. The best kind of secret. And that's doing a bit of a ramp jump to get up here, little circle jump to climb across here, and we can go right to the battlements of the Castle of Blood, which is, if you remember, where I could get some blood earlier. Now I've got a vial, which I want to do, importantly, so, not so I can craft Mega Health, which is one reason, but mainly so it spawns the final monster. There's a final fiend that spawns as like a punishment for picking this up. So, gotta do it for you 100%. The other way to get to that upper battlement is there's another platform on sort of like ledge on the right hand side, or on the left hand side, whichever way you want to orient yourself. And to jump across there, it's a slightly harder jump. You need to do 1 circle jump while you can do a really good circle jump straight to where you need to jump to the other side, or you can do 1 circle jump to get speed, then jump off the edge and land where you need to be. But you got to be, it's harder to get right basically. So here we go, this is the drop down. This is a nasty trap, it's an obvious trap, you can see the walls there clearly going to give way, but I use air control not to fall in the water and get stuck. Because what usually happens is it rains a bunch of grenades down here, it goes into the water, you've got to dodge those grenades, they might hit you, they can really screw you over. But we're not going to fight these guys, there's no point. This is going to be a pretty big reveal of enemies coming up here when I pick up the key mold, which is in this sort of... It's kind of like a chapel, I suppose, or like a Masonic hall. but a very, very basic one. Those doors don't open, which is another indication it's an obvious trap, but you can ramp jump up here to this quad, and now we have the largest reveal of monsters yet. I do this way too quickly. What I should have done is I should have just hung back and made sure every single fuck down there was dead, and then every fuck in this room was dead as I pushed through. But I was so convinced for some reason that I was going to screw up the timing on the quad damage somehow that I rushed too far forward, which then necessitated me having to run back this way. But it gives me an opportunity to show off what's in these side rooms, which is pellets and gunpowder, which I think is good for making rockets and shells. So, yeah, happy days, I suppose. Not that we really need it for the end of the map, mind you, because this is by far the largest final bit of the fight here. The very last section of the map really is just a clean-up, effectively, beyond the few awkward shamblers. But we're now crossing our bridge, Mechanicus Bridge, for the last time. Thank God you don't have to cross up the pillars every time, that's all I'm going to say. Thank God. But you do have to kill all of these awkward enforcers. There's 2 waves of enforcers, I believe, which is why I waited. There's one set that spawns in when you go into the mines and another set that spawns in when you've got your bronze plates. So that's why I wait until the end here to finally wipe them all out. Not that they can do much damage where they currently are anyway. And here you can see I forgot about some monsters. Which is still very easy to do, even on any map, when you get to this sort of length, concentration becomes a premium. It's hard to focus on a map like this, I find. There's so much going on. And here we are, the final time in the crafting zone. I thought it would have been very cool, maybe in the final version, if something like happens when you make your final craft when you make the gold key. Like, it would be nice if the place got invaded or something like that and you had to hold out. Maybe that's where you could use the barricades that aren't in the game yet and stuff like that, and play on the upper battlements and fight, but no, it's pretty much over now. The important thing that I'm doing is just stocking the hell up on final rockets, final backpacks, get myself to 500 armour. I'm going to get myself some mega health just for the hell of it now I've got my vial of blood. And just head toward the final area now, which is the Fortress of Quake, the end. That's all it is to it, folks. Could have played this much more aggressively, I usually do. I don't know why I decided to hang back here. Doesn't really make much of a difference, but I do like to charge and take advantage of the fact to have ridiculous quantities of health to do some very aggressive play here. Show off to the kids, but what can you do? And here we go, over to this chain. Fantastic. Kill these final stragglers. There's only, I think, 5 or 6 monsters left now. There's only 3 monsters behind the gold key door. The kill counter gives it away that it's kind of an anticlimax, unfortunately. But it works. It works, don't get me wrong. And here we go. The final reveal is a handful of shamblers, and that's it. That's the entire map. We jump to the portal. 57 minutes. I think you could go much faster. I think you could easily do 50 minutes on the route that I've done there if you really pushed hard and you ground out some results, but maybe made a few alterations that I talked about as well, but I'm not really a speedrunner when it comes down to it. I don't have the mindset for it. So there you go. That's the end of MacGyver Goes Lovecraft, Mazu's latest map in the Coppertone Summer Jam 2. It's a really great map. The fact that Mazu was able to make that in 2 weeks with all the game logic that entails and the huge areas and the bushwork and everything else is really impressive. It's a genuine achievement, even if it is anticlimactic and the balance is not really completely ideal. But hey, it is a beta as well. It will be extended apparently, so really look forward to that, but it's definitely worth playing in its current form, as is everything else in the Coppertone Summer Jam. It's a fantastic set of maps. Please give it a go. So until next time, stay safe, stay warm, have a good time, and see ya.